Okay, so where were you born?
Promise I'm not look at you. So, I was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I
Oh,
might even have the address. No, I was born at the hospital at the University of Pennsylvania.
so but your parents are from Thailand.
My dad is from Thailand.
Your dad is from Thailand.
My mom is from the Philippines.
Okay, I was totally wrong. Well, I was only half wrong. So you growing up, so you describe for me um your home life and religion before you went to high school because you did that in Idaho,
Yep, more or less, yes.
more or less. Okay, so what was it before that? When you were growing up, what was your home life and religion?
Alright, so I was in Philadelphia till I was about 3 years old. Then I went to Thailand.
You did go to Thailand. Okay,
Did go to Thailand.
okay,
That's correct. The
okay,
rumor is correct.
okay.
I went to Thailand. So Thailand, the state religion is Buddhist,
Okay.
and which means that all kids who attend public school have mandatory Buddhist class, and they, of course, because it's state religion, we have holidays associated with it. Well, similar to if we have Christian holiday here, but over there it's official because it's state religion. So you have all those, and because it's a Buddhist country, there's Buddhist temples everywhere. And my dad's side of the family, they're all Buddhist.
Okay.
So my mom is from the Philippines, which means that she's most like a Catholic, which she is. And so I grew up in a house where my dad's a Buddhist and my mom's a Catholic, and I had formal education, like seminary, but for Buddhist at school. It's a mandatory course for as far back I can remember. And my mom takes me to mass on Sunday as often as she can try to convince kids to go to mass on Sundays. Well,
Oh,
I had no option since I was a kid, so but we go there quite a bit.
So Buddhism, like when you're Catholic, you go to mass on Sunday. Like we as Latter Day Saints go to church on Sunday. When you're Buddhist, do you go worship on Sunday, or is it you have a different day of worship, or is it just all like a lifestyle?
Well, Buddhist does not have a day of worship because it's a completely different thing. So
Okay.
we worship in different way that is would take quite a long time to explain.
That's okay. You don't have to explain it. You don't
But
have to explain
there is no Sabbath day
it. Okay.
because there is no God and there is no creation, and hence there is no need for that. There is no Savior in Christ, so there is no event. But there is, I guess, a Buddha, so there is a day of birth and the day where he, I guess, became Buddha, and other days associated with that birth, death. So
Those are very different. Obviously, the Catholic belief in God and creation and going to mass, and then Buddhism.
that I learned at school. Yes.
So, how did that? Did you ever think about that in your mind? Like, how are these so different, or were you just like, Mom believes this, Dad believes this, and it's whatever?
It's probably the latter
Yeah.
because I think, not unlike cultural Mormonism, Buddhism, the way you grew up, is a way of life. Except that because we have class you have to attend, you can't avoid it unless you're rich and you go to private school. All kids are somewhat knowledgeable in the basic time, if they choose to at all pay attention to it, which I did. So I had looked at it objectively. I know it, and of course I go to mass. I don't get everything, but I get something.
Yeah.
But to me, those are just two religion
Yeah.
per se.
Give me 2 seconds.
Wow.
So then you grew up with both of those influences, and then you went to Idaho
I did go to Idaho.
as like a foreign exchange student, as like for fun. How did that happen?
Your intelligence is quite good on the subject matter. Well, I was born in the United States, which means I do have American citizenship, which means I am entitled to all the benefits of American, which means that if I'm a resident of the state, I get in-state tuition.
So you got arrested in Thailand, and you said, "No, I'm an American."
No.
That would have been a good one. Okay.
That would be interesting. No, because I guess extradition. There is an extradition treaty between the United States and okay, so that probably would not work.
Okay.
Especially, never mind.
That's it. We don't need to go into
Anyway.
that. But how'd you get to Idaho?
So wait. All right. So my parents they wanted me to get education here in the state.
Okay.
I guess because they think it's better.
Okay.
Maybe. Who knows? Well, opportunity here is definitely a lot better, as shown. That I don't know what will happen if I stayed in Thailand. But I'm here U.S., so the idea was that wherever you can get to go. So that's the thought that they had. I think they had it for a long time, and I guess that's where the Lord came to and said, "Well, you're going here," which is Idaho.
Did you get like assigned Idaho, or you kind of got to pick?
Yes.
You got
You
assigned
don't get
Idaho.
to pick. Oh, please, Idaho.
Shelley, Idaho, number one pick.
There's New York, there's there's Dallas, there's San Francisco, there's
And
Seattle.
You get sent to Shelley, Idaho. Okay.
We had another exchange student in Thailand in the class, and she went to, I think, where did she go to? I think it's somewhere in the East Coast. I think she went to Boston.
Cool.
So yeah, that was cool.
That would be.
Yeah. So,
that would have been a little cool.
So yeah.
Especially since you love cities.
Yeah. So she got cool. So I did not get sent to the city. I got
Okay.
sent to the anti-city, which is Shelley, Idaho. But what it did end up is, I got put in with a member's house, whose patriarch is a second council in the bishopric at the moment. So, which means that they're a pretty good family. They were the type that, hey, you know what? We go to church every Sunday. We stay at church all 3 hours, and all our kids go to mutual, which means you get to go too, and church ball and all that stuff. Also, most of the school are members, obviously, because it's Shelley, so they had seminary during the day, unlike most places out here in the East. So.
But you're kind of used to that because you grew up with a school that had its religion during class, and you're like, all right, fine, I can do this.
No, it is not weird. I've been to mass, stuff like that. Although church building is kind of Spartan, to say the least. I'm like, it's a really weird building. It's got a gym in it. It's got a basketball court, which is also interesting.
No big cathedral.
Nope, it's not. And there is no cross anywhere, as far as I can see. So there's that. And I think that was the first introduction to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
So how did it go? So you have all these different influences in your life, then you get put into this situation. How does it go from, well, this is weird and new and different for this culture, and I'll experience it while I'm here, and then I'll go home, or to wherever I'm going to go to school for college and stuff. How did you transition? What happened that had you kind of look into the church and decide for yourself, like, that you believed it?
I would say that didn't happen until college. I mean, so when I graduated high school, I went to University of Idaho up in Moscow, which is interesting in that it's northern Idaho, so the LDS population there is not as dense. I think they only had 4 singles ward in the entire university, so which is a small portion of all the student body there.
Okay.
But I think, so college is when I got away and I get to see, this is an LDS community inside of another community, unlike in Shelley, where it's just like, it's just Mormon everywhere, which is which is cultural in the sense that I'm used to, like in Thailand. Everyone's a Buddhist, everyone's a Mormon. So I think college is where I got to see the interaction and the contrast, basically. Because in Shelley, there is obviously no drinking, or I'm sure there is somewhere. But,
You didn't see it.
but the obvious is that it is not pervasive. You don't see the American movie high school experience.
Yes.
What you get is
The Mormon high school.
the Mormon high school experience.
Yeah.
That weird movie that they had.
Oh, Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah, the Napoleon Dynamite. Not quite like that,
but kind of, yeah.
But kind of, because
Yeah.
where everything seems weirdly not Hollywood.
Yeah.
It's just tamed and
Yeah.
weird. So, which is nice. I think I liked it.
Yeah.
So college is when I got experience. I have people who I know who are not members, and people I know who are members.
So did you start going to your singles ward right when you started going to University of Idaho, or did you kind of start going to school and then?
I went to school. I had a friend. I had a bunch of friends from Shelley went to University of Idaho, and they, of course, we stuck together at first, and I think eventually most of them stopped attending,
Oh, really?
and so I stopped attending too,
Okay.
because they were my connection to the church, and so
Sure.
I stopped. So for a while there, I had no contact with the church except for one person in my department, in my undergrad department. He actually remembered church, so and it is known that he's actually the only physics major who is Mormon,
Okay.
and he's from Mongolia, and he speaks Russian, and, all that stuff, and he stands out because of his Mormonness and the fact that he does not drink or drink coffee or swear
Yeah.
or make crude sexual jokes and
Yeah.
all that stuff that makes a person stand out.
Yeah.
He's the one. So there,
So you decided, when did you decide, or how did you decide to go back to church? Or to start talking to, did you talk to missionaries, or did you have your friend kind of talk to you, or you kind of already knew this stuff, you just had to
it was a combination, and it's been a long time, so it's kind of hard to remember the exact sequence.
Yeah.
At some point, so my freshman and my sophomore year, almost no contact with the church.
Okay.
And because we're taking general course, I didn't spend much time with Miles either, who was the guy.
That's true.
He ended up
Yeah.
baptizing me, but but as we become junior and senior, we're taking more specialized courses, so we spend more time. The combination of, I'm not sure what happened. There's probably a ward council somewhere that made this happen. Now I think back at it, where the missionary showed up. I got invited to Institute, which is they have that,
Uh-huh.
and got to know a very, very awesome Institute director, and who's pretty good. And I was invited to attend classes, on, I don't remember what, but obviously it's institute courses. All of that culminated in me actually starting to attend the singles ward, and me deciding that drinking is not a good thing to take up. So that was also a good influence on that.
Got it. So you started going, attending the ward, and then was there a time for you or was there a certain, I don't know if you remember feeling like, yeah, I want to get baptized. Do you remember ever feeling like that, or a time when you were just, it doesn't even, not even huge, but just like when you were in Institute or you were at church and you were like, this is what I want, this is the feeling I want, or this is kind of, besides these are good life habits and these people are cool, how do you make that jump from being around these people and enjoying it to making that commitment to become a member?
That's a good question, because I'm a fairly objective person.
Mm-hmm.
Like my undergrad major is physics and mathematics, and obviously within Shelley, there were other exchange students, and a couple of them ended up getting baptized.
Mm-hmm.
And they live with member family, and So I know that when you're in a family, there was always a pool, to fit in.
Yeah.
Except I kind of knew that wasn't, that was my thought, right? Like, oh, I want to get baptized. Well, obviously, it's because if I get baptized, I'll fit in more well with all these people and maybe get accepted. But, so I just kind of discarded that thought. And when I went to university, when I went to Singapore, those were also thoughts in the back of my mind that, like, well, it would be nice to be baptized, but, I don't want to get baptized just so that I could fit in with its good people.
Yeah.
So, which makes it, I think it could be frustrating.
Yeah.
I mean, it took me a long time. I did not get baptized until a bit right after I graduated. So that's like 2 full years of following up and stuff like that. And, so a couple sets of missionaries that came and went. But I think eventually I was challenged. I was challenged to do it again, read the Book of Mormon, which I've done, pray, which I have also done before, and study. But I think eventually I came to take it more seriously. Is what happened. Is that I came to consider it less as an objective thing and start to evaluate more from, I guess, a spiritual perspective, which is something that I haven't really done up until that point, and it was really hard for me to start doing. Because when people said, well, read this book is true, well, I read a book and it makes statements.
Mm-hmm.
And it claims it's true. And I won't go to all these other stuff, but suffice to say that I understand the anti-Mormon literature. It makes sense because people are looking at it in that way. If you look at stuff from an objective, without faith, that is what you get. Is that because that's not how faith works. You can't understand faith. So until I got to that point, and I think it came through a lot of talk with people and classes, institute classes, that eventually I came to that realization that I had to make that, I guess the so-called leap of faith. I have to actually put faith in something and give it a try from that angle.
Interesting. That's really interesting because you have like a more objective, methodical way of thinking, just who you are, and so taking classes and conversation and things, those are all things that helped you out, but eventually, no matter how you learn or no matter how you think, you're going to get to the point where you're going to have to just do the faith part of it.
There were so many discussions. We did it over and over and over, and they were discussions. They were intellectual discussions, and as far as intellectual discussions, which is why I understand people. Like, you can't argue people. You can't convert people by arguing with them.
Agreed.
Or you cannot fight anti-Mormon literature by arguments.
Right.
Because that is not how it works. It would never work. You can never convince people from that point. And but that's another story.
Yeah. So you got baptized, and your friend baptized you?
Yes. So Miles ended up baptizing me. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
We got like a huge bunch of the ward that I knew. They all showed up. I think we had a picture.
Nice.
I think the sister missionary at the end got to claim the credit because they were there.
They're like, yes, check it out.
Finally, you got this guy.
This guy 2 years later. All right. And then, how was that telling your parents?
Well, it was interesting. So so this was happened. I first made a decision to get baptized actually I don't know when. I made a decision to get baptized. And we had it all, planned out. It was awesome. And I called my parents. My parents told me, don't get baptized. And so I'm like, okay, maybe we should not get baptized. So I canceled that baptism.
Okay.
obviously that was devastating to the missionary who soon left to got transferred. But I think we kept in touch, let them know that it could happen eventually. But so that I would say I got vetoed by my parents. I'm the obedient son, so my instinct is to do it.
Yeah.
Luckily, my friend did not treat me different. People from the ward did not treat me different because I continued to go because those are the people I want to hang out with. I didn't want to hang out with. I had a different group of friends, but of course they keep wanting me to smoke pot with them.
Of course.
And they keep wanting me to drink with them. So
those are your choices.
Yeah.
You can either be Mormon or you can smoke pot, but those are your two choices.
It actually came down very close to that.
That's crazy.
There was also a guy who went to a Christian rock thing where he invited me, and I'm like, wow, what is going on? But he was very earnest. I would not fault him for that. He had his own conversion story.
Good for him.
Yep.
Good for him.
I'm all good with that. But people basically, I did not feel like I was a project. Basically, everyone treated me.
They just loved you.
Yeah. And things went on, and eventually it's a general conference. One year that I said, President Hinckley must have said something that made me like, what, I need to do something. And I think it was during Joseph Smith's first prayer, sang by Tabernacle Choir, that I'm like, you know what, I really feel this, and I just have to do it. And of course, I told my parents again, and this time they're like, well, we told you that before, and you can ask again, so it's up to you. And so I got baptized. Yeah, so, and till this day, I think my dad just gave me a book on Buddhism.
He just did?
That's last time.
Okay.
Which is fine, because it has a translate. So Buddhism is a very interesting thing, a very interesting philosophical study. I think, where did Rob serve?
Peru.
Mm-hmm. So, I wonder, so Rob, how did he know Buddhism too? So I know Jared, I know Lance. It's got some idea that, I think, Rob was talking about meditation. So yeah, that's what came out, that's fine. There are some, like it's said by the prophet, there is truth everywhere.
Yes.
People just don't have any complete, and if you look in other religion like Buddhism, which I know, there's a lot of things that we can take, that I can take, and there's a lot of principle that I'm interested in learning for the intellectual and to see the idea of all that stuff. So
I took a world religions class in college. It was one of my favorite classes because it's really amazing to look at what people can do, what good people can do with the amount of good that they're given, and how they can use that, and how they can use their perception of the world to really do amazing things. Did you once you made that commitment and you were baptized, was there ever any time when you're struggling with interactions with your family or anything like that where you're like, man, this is hard, or this would have been easier a different way, or anything like that? Or has it always just been, now that you have logically thought all of it through, you did everything, you jumped with faith, and now that you did it, you're like, yep, never look back, this is...
I mean, obviously there are times and challenges and doubts, but because I can always look back, I guess the foundation that, like you said, is because I know now how to look at things. Like, there's always the natural man that is gonna come and say, well, if I didn't have to pay tithing, we could have done
filthy rich.
Yeah, we could have done all these things we want to do. If this, if that, all these difficult, decisions. But in the end, or hard questions that come up. But in the end, I think I would not. I think the Lord has put me in the right place, right time, and the right way for me to get it. And He has put me.
We'll just stay connected.
Hi, baby. He's basically put me in a position that allows me to, I think, have a firm foundation. Like, I mean, there'll be times of trials, but um, when I look at it and I really think, and I just think, feel my way through it,
Mm.
I think that I'll be like, well, yeah, but that's how it is. It's worth it.
Yeah.
I think what we have, what I have in the end.
So you graduated in Idaho, and then you did grad school
I did grad school
out here in North Carolina.
Yeah, so I applied. The two top places I applied to is Maryland and North Carolina. I guess Maryland. Hannah didn't go to Maryland, so I guess that was a big no.
Okay.
Yeah, so I applied to those places. This is the place this is actually my second choice, which Maryland said Maryland. I actually don't know. Maybe they just said no outright. I don't know what happened.
Okay.
But North Carolina is where I ended up, so and I actually came out here. And because of the way the church operates, I told the bishop there I'm doing this. They did all the preparation hand in hand. They sent my name here, and they did the wonderful thing of like, all right, look, we have roommates for you who are members. You don't have to
Oh, really?
Yep.
Nice.
I got put into an apartment with all members, so
awesome.
I could just continue through and have all the wonderful things.
It's got some good bishop back in University, Idaho, pulling some strings for you.
Yep, they did. So the Singles Board, whoever was the bishop there did, or elders conference did a really good job, because I basically said, I think I just told the bishop, I'm going to North Carolina. I'm not sure where I'm gonna stay. I don't know how this works. He's like, well, you know what? We'll take care, or we'll take the first step, or someone somewhere.
Somebody.
All I know is that at some point I was contacted and put in touch with some other people and said, this is where, and get in touch with this person, and they'll like rearrange it. You can be their roommate, and that's how it ended up.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then you went to church and saw Hannah from afar.
I'm pretty old compared to her, so she did not show up until like 2 years later. So
okay.
I did the Mormon Singles Word thing, which is, how about you? She said no. Okay, fine. How about you? So, but I think the Lord kept me ready for her,
yeah.
She's the one, so I'm like, okay.
Awesome.
But yeah.
Did your parents have any kind of problems? Like, they had accepted you as being your decision to get baptized. That's your decision. But they, in the meantime, moved to the United States, and then you met Hannah and you got married in the temple. And how did that conversation go? Did they already know that was going to happen, or was it?
I think, they know way ahead of time, ever since I got converted, and they tried to unconvert me when I went back to visit my family in Thailand, and I think that did not work. It would have been easy though, because right after I got baptized, I went back to Thailand for a couple months, which means I could just drop off the face of the earth and not be heard from again.
Yeah.
But
are there LDS?
There are
LDS presence in Thailand at all?
They are. I was not able to attend those.
Okay.
Because of family and stuff.
Yeah. Because you're home living with your mom and dad, and they're like, "Come to church with us. You're living with us. You come to church." And
you have no car, right?
Yeah. Can't go to church.
You can take buses, but the internet's not that good. Hard to find out where they are. There are elders. I see them once in a while, but so by the time we got engaged, I think it was quite a. Well, they met Hannah already. We brought her up, so they've seen her, and that was the only person they met, so they probably know we're serious. And we dated for a while before we got engaged, and by the time we got engaged, I think everybody started talking to them about what it means and all this stuff, including the temple. So when the time came, they understood. They are probably still not happy about it till this day. The fact that we are they feel like the way they raised me, which I can't blame them, because they said, oh, we raised you like your dad's Buddhist, I'm Catholic, like my mom. My dad doesn't talk about this. It's all my mom.
Oh, okay.
Obviously.
All right.
But my mom will be like, your dad Buddhist, I'm Catholic. We raised you up. We let you, raise you up with both. You should do that. And I'm like,
Oh,
well,
like pick one of those. One
yeah,
of these
but
is
I'm
good.
like, yeah, but Hannah and I were both Mormons. So
Oh, she's like, pick one. Why don't you just be Catholic?
No, yeah. So they still have ideas of. I don't think they have idea of me leaving the church, but I think they may have in their weird head that maybe our kids don't have to be, which is possible, right?
Right.
But at the same time, Anyway.
But they recently came to Iris's baby blessing.
Yep.
And that was the first of the 3? Is that right? Or am I wrong?
I think that, were they there for Lily or Rosie? They may have been here for Rosie. But
Yeah.
Lily's the first time they went to a baptism, for sure.
Oh, okay.
They may not have been there for Lily when Lily was blessed. Or Rosie, for that matter. That's a good question.
Yeah. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Hannah said that this was the first
I believe that may be
baby
the first time.
blessing.
Because we did not invite them explicitly to those events. Or if we did, it did not quite work out.
That they came.
So, yep.
Awesome. So when you look at other, like say youth who are investigating the church or college kids or anybody who's kind of your age when you were investigating your non-members, how do you feel, like what is kind of your approach to sharing the gospel based on your experience and your perspective as someone who grew up with the life you did?
See, that is actually maybe missionary probably hates me for this. So I go with it like way slow, like because for example, I gave a Book of Mormon to someone at work because the missionary said I should. So I thought about it. I prayed and said I'll give it to him. And I think a month now later, and then last week I just said, catch a mission. Hey, have you had a chance to read it? Because when it comes to people that get converted, I have very big qualms, and this is a personal thing. I don't want to say it because
No, you're fine.
because people from Chile that went up, that were member church when they went up to Idaho where they had freedom. It turns out that, hey, maybe drinking is actually cool after all, or stuff like that. So I see firsthand of, oh, wait, just because they're Mormons doesn't mean that, that, or the other fact that I know a lot of people who are baptized around the time I was, who are basically just there for like a few months and disappear.
Right.
So I understand that when people work, when want people to get converted, they get very excited. Because I'm still somewhat logical, I'm also a cynical person, in that I want to make sure that they fully understand and commit. And not to be selfish, but, I want them to be able to be thoroughly committed so that the seed is planted in good soil, so that when the sun rises, it doesn't shrivel up, or when the thorn, it's not like when the thorns spring, it just choke and die. Because that's the thing. Like I'm not the person who I'm not good at doing this. Like, I'm more of a, you can quite say like a long-term planner. In that if it works, it's gonna take a really long time for it to work.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work, it will still take a really long time for you to know if it works or not.
Yeah.
Because I'm more of that camp. It's because I see everyone and I put myself in their place that if I've jumped in, if I went to Shelley, Idaho, and decided I want to fit in with this crowd, I would have got baptized, and then that would be the end of it. I probably would not be attending church when I went to college. Because that's a different mindset.
Yeah.
So.
No, I think that is definitely a really good thing because yes, you get really excited when you see someone who you think might be interested or in the right place in their life to hear the message of the gospel, and you're like, yay, but maybe it is just time for them to learn a principle. Like, I think sometimes as members we get a little like antsy, like, oh, they're going to read the Book of Mormon and then they're going to have this amazing faith building prayer and experience, and they're going to get baptized next weekend,
Which is not wrong.
which is not wrong.
I know.
And some people that happens, and some people they know it immediately,
Yep.
and they never go back,
Yep.
and they never doubt it. But there are other people like yourself who think things through and have to learn things, and it takes longer, and maybe you're there to help put a little dirt on the seed. Maybe you're not there to watch it turn into a plant. I mean, if you're going with the metaphor, but like, maybe you're there to help them learn one aspect of the gospel, or just to show them an example of a member of the church who committed to their religion, whether they lived at home or lived away, And I like that.
Yeah, I think the thing is that there are maybe two types of converts. Maybe probably not two, but the two extremes are the type that got into it right away, and it's okay. I'm okay with them going in with that energy because that's how I experienced it.
Yeah.
I can't do that because that's not how I got converted. So definitely, but I am a cynic. So when I see people get really excited, I always said, oh, we're gonna get baptized. I'll be like, yeah, but how can we make sure that they stay?
Yeah.
That's always my biggest question, because there's nothing sadder than seeing someone come so close, right? Like, they got so close, they got baptized, but they didn't quite make it. I mean,
That's probably and not, to be honest, part of me feels like that question that you pose is like, okay, we'll get him baptized, great, but like, what happens next weekend? What are we doing for him after that? Because, like, if they were able to have the faith that gets them to that font, like, what are we doing once they get there to help them learn and help them grow and help them build their faith rather than thinking that everything's done?
Yeah. It's a hard question.
It is a hard question. No, but who is the problem? They
need ministering brother.
They need a friend, a calling, and
all that stuff. Yeah.
Shoot, I need to know this.
They need all that. So
Yeah.
Especially today. Like, there's a lot of challenging stuff today that's gonna question people that they're like, oh, because the church will stand its ground.
Yeah.
And against a lot of things, and a lot of time people see it and they will call. Even I sometimes whoa, that is, but that's okay, because I have faith in church and its leadership and the gospel, and even if I don't understand it now, that's okay.
Yeah.
I don't have to understand everything.
I don't want to understand everything. That's like a lot of pressure.
That's a lot of pressure.
Just closing out, when you learn about the concept of a savior, and that's a new thing, and then you've accepted him in your life, how do you feel, and what are your thoughts about Jesus Christ as a savior for you?
It's like everything, like the fact that the atonement. So when I was in the student commons once at Idaho, just minding my own business, having lunch or studying, I don't even know if they're probably not missionaries, our missionaries. They're probably some other people's missionaries, but they were young. But I don't think they had a name tag. I don't think. And they came up and like, hey, do you believe in God? And blah, blah. And I'm like, well, intellectually I know, and I give all this spiel, right? And I have this, I won't say nihilistic, but I'm like, well, if there's God and blah, blah. And they're like, oh, and they just kind of walked away. Because I didn't believe in God. So that was the first thing they had to work on. But now that I came to understand Christ and atonement, the fact that I think the strongest reason that I'll continue to be, that I will, sorry, I mentioned before that sometimes there are things hard and I don't understand it because there are terrible things in the world that people will ask of, well, why did God let it happen? You know, even stuff in scriptures are, like, why would the Lord command such many people to die by the hand of, sometimes by the hand of His servant? And and the understanding that there is the atonement and there's Christ, and that the pain and the suffering of everyone imaginable, now in the past, of all the misfortune, that He feels it all, of the mothers who lost a child, and the father who has to bury their sons, and kids, child soldiers, and all the things in the world that when you look at it and you're just like, why? Well, it makes sense that that Christ has paid for all of that. He has felt all of it, and that brings peace. I mean, without it, I'm cynical by nature, and without it, I'm probably not gonna be a really pleasant person. Like, I get burdened down sometimes when I think about it. But I can always find comfort. I can always come back to the Savior, and because I know Him, and I know what He's done for us, I know that in the end, everything will be all right. Like, the wrong will be righted, and the meek, will inherit the kingdom of God, and all those unfortunate things that happen to people out there, it will be rectified, and it's all possible because of Christ and Heavenly Father and what they did for us. So when it comes down to it, it is that core that I had to build, the faith in Jesus Christ. Like, that is and the atonement. That is the foundation of everything. Because with that faith, everything is possible. Absolutely everything. And I won't say I can face any trials, because I don't want God to start throwing trials at me, but I have feelings that, I can face trials that I would not otherwise have been able to without it.